Welcome to the video on percent word problems. In this short video, I will discuss how we can use one simple formula to solve any problem that contains a percentage symbol or that is asking for a percent. Part equals percent written as a decimal times the whole. In any word problem that involves percent, one of these three things, either the part, the percent, or the whole, will be your unknown, and the other two will be given to you. The problem becomes understanding which one is the unknown and which two are the given parts. Now, just a quick reminder, to go from a percent into a decimal, you simply divide the given number by 100. So if you have 30%, for example, then that will be written as 0.3 as a decimal, because 30 divided by 100 is 0.3, and this is the number that will be going here into the formula. Another example, if you have 4%, for example, 4 divided by 100 is 0.04, and then that number will go into the formula and so on. Very important to remember, additionally, that the whole is always the number before something happened to it. It's the original number or the original amount. So the percent word problems often talk about discounts or price increases or population decreases. In that case, whatever the number was before any changes happened to it is your whole. And finally, one more thing to keep in mind is that this part and the percent, they will be representing the same amount. So if part is $30 and percent is 25%, then the $30 is 25% of the original whole amount. Well, without further ado, let's look at this first example here.
It says, over the past several years, a city's population has been increasing at a rate of 13% per year. If the city's current population is 18,214 people, then what was the city's population a year ago?
Well, I'm going to write my formula. A lot of people would consider 18 to 14 to be the whole because it's just a big number, it makes sense. However, remember that the whole is always the original amount before the increase, before the change, before the discount, whatever the change was. 18,214 people is the city's current population after it increased by the 13%, which means it's not the original amount before the increase, it's actually the final amount. So in place of the whole, for this formula, I'm going to put the x. When I was describing the formula and I circled the part and the percent in these green circles, I said that they need to be corresponding. Now, if you think about it, this final number, 18,214, consists of the whole of the original population and then 13 extra percent on top of that. Now, the whole is the 100%. And then we have the additional 13% on top of 100. So this number, the part, actually consists of the whole and then the additional 13% on top of the whole. So this percent here is going to be given as 113%, or divided by 100 and written as a decimal, it's 1.13. And that's the number that goes in place of the percent. Now the part is 18 to 14, and we can easily solve this equation for x by dividing both sides by 1.13, which gives us x equals 16,118.58, and the question will likely ask you to round it to the nearest whole person because we're talking about people here, so that is 16,119 people. Let's look at the next example.
If the first chapter of a certain book is 40 pages long and it makes up 20% of the book, then how many pages does the entire book have?
I'm going to put my formula here, part equals percent as a decimal times the whole. The whole here clearly will be the whole book. So x is our whole. I do have the percentage, which is 20%, and I also have 40 pages. And the question actually says that 40 pages is 20%. So these two numbers correspond to each other. The 40 pages make up 20% of the book. So I'm going to put 40 pages for the part and 0.2 for the percent, and then to find x, you simply divide both sides by 0.2. So x is 200 pages. Okay, let's look at the next example.
Last week, Mary's Mini Mart sold 411 bags of ice. This week, a local heat wave caused the sale of bags of ice to increase by 65%. By how many bags did the sale of ice increase this week? What is the total number of bags of ice sold this week?
So again, starting with our formula, part equals percent times the whole. 411 is the number of bags of ice before the heat wave, before the increase, so that is our whole, 411. And then the percent is 0.65. The part is what we're looking for. So it looks like this part is 267.15. Now again, because these are bags of ice, you will likely be asked to round, so we're just going to say 267 bags of ice. We found the part that represents 65% of the original of 411. So 267 is how many more bags Mary's Mini Mart sold this week. And that's the answer to the first question, by how many bags did the sale of ice increase this week? We also have to answer the second question, what is the total number of bags of ice sold this week? And to find the total, well, we simply add 411 and 267. And the answer to that is 678. Okay, the last final example.
The price of a greeting card rose from 15 cents to $1.70 over the last 25 years. This represents an increase in price of what percent?
So I'll start with the formula, part equals percent times the whole. I clearly don't have a percent. In fact, we are asked for the percent. This represents the increase in price of what percent? I'm going to start with the whole. Remember, that is the number before anything happened, before the increase. And that number here is 15 cents. Because the increase was so significant and we went into dollars after 25 years, I'm going to write cents as decimals, so 0.15, that's 0.15 of a dollar for the whole. I don't have the percent, so that's an X. And then for the part, so the second number that I have is $1.70, and that's the current price. $1.70 includes our original price, which was 15 cents, and then the increase to that price. So for the part, subtract 15 cents from $1.70, and that is $1.55, and that is our part. To find the x, you simply divide both sides by 0.15, which gives me x equals, so if I got the equal sign here, x equals 10.33. Now, what is that 10.33? Remember, this is the x, this is the percent of a pound, but the percent in this formula is always the decimal. So this is not 10.33%. This is actually 1033%.